What's going on, guys? What's going on? Come on in. Come on in. Kick up your feet and rest a while. I'm only going to be on for a few minutes. You know, there's something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Those of you that are here in North Carolina, you know that it has gone viral that a student at one of our local schools slapped a teacher not once, but twice, and hurled a lot of threats, I guess, profanity at the teacher. No one knows what the cause was. But when I seen the video, I heard about it. And when I seen the video, I got mad. I got mad. I got mad all over again. Just from hearing it and, seeing the news clips, and I debated on whether I was going to show this video or not, because something is going wrong in our society where a child can walk up to an adult and slap the crap out of them for no reason at all. Or maybe you were just mad. I don't know what the case may be, but that's what I started this podcast for, was to give back to my community, try to bridge the gap of communication in our community amongst our generations, not just bridge the gap, but get out into our communities and see what's going on with our children, see what's going on with the parents. It just saddens my heart. You just never know what somebody's going through mentally. I'm glad that the teacher is okay in this particular incident, but we have got to start looking around our households. We have got to start being more active and being more aware of when our teachers call and they have concerns about our children. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say some of the students may not be in their families' homes. And this is true. We have a lot of children in foster care. We need a lot more mentors out here in our society. And just being a part of North Carolina, it was particularly disturbing for me, as I am out here in the community. I'm coming to you guys live every day, reading the word or talking about general things that go on in our community. And sometimes you just feel helpless. Sometimes as adults, you just feel helpless. And, I have 3 young adults myself. Thank God I never had these situations when it came to school, but I did have these situations when it came to the house. And I'm not talking volatile, but, our kids can talk back to us. Our kids can, as my mother used to say, get up and start smelling their self. But I feel in this particular generation, it's gotten a little bit more out of hand. Social media plays a big part. That's why I'm kind of sort of going back and forth in my head as I talk to you guys now about whether I want to show the clip or not. I made a clip. It's already out there on Facebook. It's gone viral. And I just think it's getting to the point where our parents, they need help and guidance. It's getting to the point where our parents are having to kick their own children out because for some reason, society is raising our children. Whether you're in a single parent home, whether you have 2 parents, it's getting to the point where our children are not taking a listen to us. And where do we go from here? Now we have another one of our young African American boys getting charged as an adult. We have a teacher that probably was traumatized, even though the news says that she went back to school today. Um, our police department, our sheriff department said that, there would be zero tolerance of violence on our teachers. Where do we go wrong in our society? I know that some need a little bit more tender love and care than others. I know that, we're living in a society right now where, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's hard for us to make groceries. Some parents having to work 2 and 3 jobs. Some parents are single parents, and not just, you know, single parents in the fact of just being a female. There are males out there too that are single parents. There are people put in place in our governments that, help foster our children. And I just don't understand where we're going wrong in our community with some of the violence. I watched several videos. Some people were saying our black men need to stand up more. Some people were saying, well, what are we going to do about it as a black community? I think this is a community as a whole thing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is, as my mind trickles down to the Bible, this is our tribe. They had 12 tribes. This is our tribe, man. Your family is your tribe. Your family name is your tribe. And it's time for us to stand up in our community. I have loved ones in the educational system, and they're starting as small as the age 9 and 10. And then when you call the parents into the office, you got to be combative with them on some occasions. I have a girlfriend that I've been friends with for over 30 plus years, and she's always been in the school system, and it's always something. And our teachers can't fight back. They're not allowed to, be combative, yell, raise their voices, or even protect themselves. Protect themselves. As simple as protecting themselves. I seen a clip today, and it was on one of our official websites for our county, that right now in Forsyth County, it's a little less than 10,000 teachers in our public school systems. And I don't think these teachers went to school to walk away from a degree, to walk away. You have to really put some thought in becoming a teacher, having that love for somebody else's child, taking that responsibility on while the parents are at work, working and trying to provide a meal. Our teachers are our caregivers. They are our educators. They deserve the same respect as our young community is screaming up and down right now that they deserve. And I've heard that a lot. That's one of the reasons why I started this podcast anyway, just looking at our young community and how they have no boundaries on the things that they do, say on social media, out in public. And I'm not going to say all of our community. I don't want to put it out there like that. I don't want to say all of our young community, but we have a lot that's doing a lot of things that is not in order and not in decency, not in representation of their family. They're following to see who could make the most noise. But what we have to start educating them on is the fact that trouble is easy to get into and it's hard to get out of. My mother used to tell me that all the time. Trouble is easy to get into, but it's hard to get out of. I'm going to play this video, and I have to warn you that it is very, very sensitive, Very, very sensitive. It may be traumatizing for some that has any issues going on with them. So it is definitely not a video that you want to show small children. If you have any small children around, please get them out the room before I show this 50-second clip. But this was just horrible. And this happened right here in the state of North Carolina in our community.
More time.
Oh! Stop fucking playing with me, bitch ass nigga. What?
Do you think that affected me any?
You want me to hit you again? You want me to hit you again?
I don't want it.
You want me to hit you again?
I don't want
You want me
it.
to hit you again?
My God.
Oh! God, stop fucking playing with me. I told your dumb ass I'll knock those dumb ass glass off your fucking face.
And do I look like I
What
care?
the fuck wrong with you? What you gonna do? Still sit in that chair? Nigga, you was a bitch. My granny, nigga, stop fucking playing with me. What the fuck wrong with you? Bitch ass nigga. Ain't nobody ever come and you just got slapped. Bitch, go back to teaching. Yo, soft ass.
That is disturbing. That is disturbing. And my heart and my insides shake. My heart drops. I don't know what to think about the whole situation as a whole. My heart goes out to the parents. My heart goes out to the parents or parent that this child belongs to. This young man belongs to be that bold. And this is not the first case. We've had it happen all over our country. All over our country. And I just don't know where we are going wrong in our communities, where our children are going to school wreaking havoc in our educational system. We went wrong years ago when we took prayer out of the schools. We went wrong years ago when the parents were able to call the children were able to call the police on the parents. We went wrong in so many different ways. And our Bible speaks about this. Scripture speaks about spoiling the child, sparing the rod and spoiling the child. Our scripture in Proverbs, it talks about how our children are supposed to honor their mother and father. Wear the wisdom of your mother around your neck like a garland. It speaks about that. And I'm just paraphrasing for all my Bible scholars out there. But it speaks about that. It speaks about the relationship between the children and the parent. Back in our day, in my day, even your neighbors could chastise you. Your neighbors could chastise you and then tell your mama. And when your mama or your daddy came home, you were going to get in trouble a second time. And I get it. I get it for all my people out there that has been physically and mentally abused by parents, because we do have some parents in the community that, I'm sorry to say, just was not ready to be parents. They just wasn't. It doesn't make a person a bad person if they accidentally get pregnant and decide to keep the child. That's a wonderful, loving thing. That means that you cared about another human being. But it does not give you the right to lay all of your burdens at the feet of your child, and then your child comes out with some things going on with them. That video was very, very disturbing. It disturbed my whole world. And I said I didn't want to get on here. I didn't want to get on here and, talk about this for a very, very long time. I just wanted to weigh in on it for all of my followers in North Carolina. We do have a voice. We do need to stand up. We do need to get more involved, and not just in our educational system, but we need to get more involved in what our children are doing. And we need to listen, not to react or rebuttal, but we need to actually listen. We need to listen and see what's going on with our children and our community. I'm just shaking my head. And a lot of people used to get on me for always being on my soapbox about our young community. And I am not talking about all of our young community. We have some young people out there that are doing some wonderful things. We have some young people out there that are mentors themselves. But we have a large percent of our community, our young black and brown children, wreaking havoc on our cities, our counties. Thank you, Chronicles. It just hit me. It just hit me, today as I've been so busy. I didn't have my head into my news until hubby said something about it. And then I popped over my sister's house, and she works in the school system, and she was telling me she heard about it. And when I went and found the video that I just showed, I was appalled. I was appalled. When are we going to get this right? And we can't blame it on our whole community. We can't blame it on our black community. We can't just blame it on the parents either, because some of our parents are either in jail, on drugs, our grandparents. I did a episode last summer this time where I interviewed a young lady that was a grandparent, and she said, I wasn't ready to raise another set of kids. She said, however, my daughter is caught up in the opioid pandemic, and the father is nowhere around. She said, I ended up getting my grandson right during the middle of the pandemic. I'm not computer literate. I had to figure all this stuff out. But who else was going to take my grandson? And she went on to start a nonprofit. She went on to start a nonprofit so that our elderly community can actually get out into the community and have some time to spend for their self. And I talked to her. I was very candid about talking to her about this on my show last summer. And my heart went out to her. She had to be every bit of in her late 60s, early 70s. And we have a lot of that going on. And I say again, and I'm going to keep reiterating it, but when I see stuff like this is the stuff that I'm talking about. This is the stuff that I'm talking about, the blatant disrespect. Some of you guys probably caught my live, what I did with my compadre on here, now Chronicles. We had a candid conversation a few weeks back, and I was telling her how my young adult, and she's 24, were saying, respect. I don't have to respect you as an elder, as a senior person, unless you respect me. And I said, I totally get that. I totally get that at the point where you're of legal age. But we're talking about our babies. We're talking, you're still a baby to me if you ain't got to 25, 26 yet. But we talking about our babies in school. Now, this young man has an adult charge on him. Now you got our criminal justice system so agitated and mad. They're saying this will not be tolerated in our county, that we will bring the wrath down. And I don't think that he knew at that particular point. I don't even know if maybe, I don't know. I don't want to put too much speculation out there on anything other than what I saw on the video. But we have got to start bringing, not only in our homes, we have got to start bringing prayer back into our school systems. That was a big mistake. And I know we all have our rights. I know we all don't follow the same religion. I do know that. But we have got to put something in place. I talked about this last week. Our children are going to school with cell phones. And I got it on good authority that our teachers aren't allowed to take things from them. They have to have their personal space. They're not allowed to raise their voice above a level. They're not allowed to even protect themselves. This teacher sat calmly in the chair, and allowed this young man to hit her twice. And he said, "Do you want me to hit you again?" And she said, "I'd rather you not." Twice. And that's disturbance. That is disturbing. That is disturbing. That is disturbing. Chronicles said, so many of these kids need therapy and the proper behavioral testing. I agree, Chronicles. I totally agree. I agree. She also said the foundation starts at home. Back in the day, I used to be in so many programs that helped kids and parents, and now they've done stop. They have. They've stopped a lot of stuff in our educational system that was for the good of our children. And I'm in an apartment complex. I see a lot of this going on a lot in my neighborhood with small kids. I've had to get into a few conversations in my neighborhood with the parents. And I didn't get a great response from the parents. I got retaliated on from the parents. So you kind of feel like your hands are tied. I'm not one of those that want to run away from my community. But when everything that I work hard for is being destroyed by your child and I can't have a conversation with you about it, that's disturbing. That's disturbing. That's disturbing. It's disturbing. We have got to do something about the way things are going in our communities right now. We have got to do something about this. Guys, if you have anything that you want me to talk about in our community right here in the state of North Carolina, we are a Christian podcast. And we do want everything to stay in line, no profanity, no combativeness, but we do want to have the conversation, have an open dialogue. Have an open dialogue about some of these things that's going on in our community. And I had a mentor that I was watching before I came onto the show. And he was saying the exact same thing. He said when it happened on Monday, he was going down his feed and he saw, different responses. He saw young men and young women in our Black and brown communities that was cheering this on their social media pages with big platforms. He said, and then he saw other people like himself, other mentors that was actually having the conversation. And I totally agreed with him. And he said he chose not to share it. I chose to share it because, he said one key thing when he was speaking yesterday. He said, those of you that have platforms that want to get out in the community, that's always talking about wanting to do something for your community, share the video on your platform. I wasn't going to share it. I really was totally against sharing it. I was just going to put a link down there for it. But You're right, Will. It's very hard to have a conversation with children. They do not have the capacity to reason. You're right. But at the same token, some of our parents don't have the capacity to reason. Some of our parents don't have it. Some of my parents don't. They don't. I've had conversations with school teachers. I've had conversations with school teachers that are personal friends, and they've had situations where the parents came up with the grandparents to fight them because they took away a cell phone. I posted a couple weeks ago that I'm all for our children having their cell phones and things in school. But why don't we go back old school? Like when you go to the YMCA and have lockers inside the classroom, not just outside the classroom, have lockers inside the classroom where the students have to put away their personal belongings. Why can't we do that? I understand that we've had mass shootings. I'm not oblivious to that. I understand the parents that are out here that's concerned about sending their good children to school only for a mass shooting to break out. I understand that. But you know what? One bad apple spoils the bunch. One bad apple will spoil the whole barrel. And you have followers, and then you have children that are not followers. You have children that's just not built that way to stand up for themselves. But this was appalling. It was ridiculous. My conversation tonight may be all over the place because I'm a little frazzled. And this probably gonna weigh on my mind for a couple days because this is what this platform is about. And it's a sad day when I go down my social media page and this is a community podcast and I see another professional and outside in our Queen City getting views on something that I am trying to bring to light right here in our community. Over thousands of friends on my social media page, but I can't get us to come together as a community to talk about the needs in our community. This is not about getting social media famous. I'm not doing this. I don't get paid for this. I do it because God placed love in my heart for people. I do it because he gave me a second chance. He cleaned me up. I do it because I want to see our children, our young adults, our seniors win. I do it because we are all we got. That's why I do it. We are all we got. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. The parents has to be raised with more morals and values if their children will begin to display the morals and the values that is displayed at home. You're right. Our children do. Our children do. Our children pick up what they see at home. I saw it with my own eyes. I told you guys about an incident that happened a couple summers ago. I saw a young man got ready to bust a young girl upside the head because he was mad. But it all starts in what we do around our parents, around our children. It all starts in what we do around our children. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And the more I talk to people in our school system, People that are in these positions, their hands are tied. Their hands are tied. And our society don't want us to blame it on the parents. But sometimes you have to ask yourself, who else takes the responsibility for it? Who else takes up the responsibility for it? Because they got to pick it up somewhere. And if they did not pick it up for you from home, then are you paying close attention to where your children are going when they're away from home? And that's in anything. That's in anything with our babies. I'm still worried about my young adults, and they're in their 20s and their 30s. But we don't live in a forgiven world anymore. We don't live in a world where people are valuing other people's lives. We don't live in a world anymore where people have morals. We live in a world where people are scamming our seasoned people. They're getting thrown in nursing homes left and right. Our children are going to school doing what this young man did, slapping teachers, being combative. We live in a world where everything revolves around social media content. And the sad part is a lot of the bad outweighs the good. That's the sad part about it. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not against content creators, social media influencers. I'm not against that. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not. But trying to get the good stuff out there, unless it's ratchet, unless it's like this video that's going viral, unless it's something that's so horrific where people can turn it into a real laugh, put emojis on there, the good content outweighs the bad content, outweighs the good content. It's disturbing. Yes, I am. You know, I am. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. You know, and I'm kind of ashamed as well. Because again, it's one of our Black and brown community. It makes us all look bad as a whole. It reflects on us. We have fought. Our forefathers have fought for us to have the ability to do things like vote. Somebody had to, you know, be the one that say, I'm going to break down the barrier and I'm going to be the only Black person to go to this all-white school. We fought for so much. We're still fighting for so much. But when we have actions like this, it kind of negates everything that we fight for. It really, really does. And I said I wasn't going to be on here long, but guys, you know, we used to have this saying back in the day, each one, teach one. And I know it's hard. I've been around, you know, some young adults, some young teenagers, even kids that I just want to pull my hair out. And I was like, if that was my kid. But we still got to keep fighting. We still got to keep pushing. We still got to keep educating. We still got to lead by example. We still got to show them what love looks like. And sometimes the parents too. We got a lot of broken parents out here. And I'll say it again. We have a lot of parents out here that just was not ready to be parents. I commend them for not, you know, getting rid of a life, because life is precious. But at some point, they either neglect, give away, throw away, forget, get caught up in their own pain, where they just was not ready. They just was not ready. So if you find it in your heart today, the day after, set a good example for that young man or that young woman that may be going through a hard time. Because sometimes they just need a hug. Sometimes they just need a little bit of love. Sometimes they just need a little bit of love. And sometimes, like Chronicles said, sometimes they need to be in a program. They need to be tested. They need to be tested. I am so, Chronicles could tell you she had to educate me on mental health, because I was still set in some of my old school ways. And I thank God for the friendship, because she educated me on some things. But I will say this, I'm still kind of stuck on some of my old school stuff. And I think respect goes a long way. And I used to tell my children all the time, and there's no shame in this, I used to tell them all the time, I'm not your friend. I wasn't put here to be your friend. I'm your parent. When you turn 18 and you start experiencing life on your own, and you're going to college or you decide to move out, then we can be friends. But while I'm raising you, we're not friends. I'm not going to sit down and kiki with you about adult stuff. I'm not going to sit around and do adult stuff in your face, knowing that it's an impressionable age. I'm just not going to do that. And I still stand by that. And I still stand by. Our seasoned people deserve respect. Our leaders. We can debate all day about the things that we don't like in society. I'm here for that all day, every day. And we can walk away agreeing or disagreeing, or agreeing to disagree. But I still think there's a certain time in a child's life where their brain hasn't even developed. So statistics say that. I still think there's a certain point where, when you're off at work, yeah, you're right, Chronicles. I live by the concept, be the change you want to see around you. Yes, I get it. But sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes that's difficult too. But you are right. I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. You have to be the change that you want to see. But sometimes when you're out there on that ledge by yourself and you got a whole gang that just out to wreak havoc, sometimes you throw up your hands. But let's not be that community right here in the state of North Carolina that throw up our hands. Let's do what Chronicles said. Be the change that you want to see around you. I'm out, guys. Peace and blessings to you all. We'll be back on here live on Monday. I was going to come back on today. I just need a little bit more time. I need a little bit more rest. I got my hands full. Will said, you're absolutely right about parents being broken. They are broken. That's why their family lives is the way that it is. I will continue saying this. The parents have to take responsibility. Yes, they do. And guys, I'll be back. I will be back on Monday. morning inspirations Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Actually, I'll be back this Friday. I keep forgetting about this Friday. I'll be back twice on Friday. We got a Freedom Friday girl chat. I double booked, so you guys will be seeing my face twice. And we're going to be introducing some entrepreneurs. This is what I wanted to do as well with the show. I wanted to get some of our entrepreneurs out there, whether you're local or whether you're in another state. I have a young lady that's coming on Friday. And I'm going to let her promote her business for a little bit. And then we're going to have a conversation with my special guest, Hanan. She is the founder and the director of Earth Angels. And we're going to get into feeding the people, the children, the infants over in Ghana, as well as we're going to talk about neglect in our mothers with their pregnancies. We got a whole lot that's going to be going on with that episode. That episode would air that evening, like I'm coming to you now at 6 o'clock that evening. So if you guys can check it out, we won't be back for morning inspirations until Monday. But with that being said, guys, share, follow, especially if you are in the community. We got to get out here in our community. We got to get out here in our community and lend a hand. Blessings. My heart go out to that teacher. Blessings. I did see on Facebook they had took up a GoFundMe for her, and she reached out to them and told them to take the GoFundMe down, that she didn't want a GoFundMe for her. And I think that is very heroic. She went back to school the very next day. So my heart goes out to her. I'm going to keep her in my prayers. You guys keep her in your prayers. Until next time, peace and blessings to you all.